These are 10 LEGO Marvel sets that could actually save the theme in 2026. Hey, how you doing? My name is Ryan, and today I'm revealing my ultimate LEGO Marvel wish list, a dream wave to bring the theme back on track. I'm pitching brand new builds and minifig selections across multiple price points, pulling from comics and movies. So whether you're a casual fan or hardcore collector, there's something for you in this wave. Now, quick disclaimer, I am not including any sets based on either Avengers Doomsday or Spider-Man Brand New Day. Those are basically guaranteed. This list is all about the ideas LEGO haven't done yet. Also, if you're new to the channel, hi, welcome, but don't subscribe yet. Only hit that button if you would actually buy the first set on this list. Deal? So with that, going from smallest to largest, my first set on my wish list for Marvel 2026 is the Penny Parker mech suit versus the Spot. Retail value would be $15 and would include two figures, Penny Parker and the Spot. So why would this idea work? Well, LEGO loves Marvel mech suits, they always have and they always will. But one of the few characters whose main gimmick is owning and operating a mech suit is Penny Parker from Into the Spider-Verse. Usually, LEGO would go for a character like the Hulk, or Thor, or Thanos, people that don't need mech suits to be fun. And the style of Penny's mech would be pretty fun for LEGO to emulate. It would also make this set feel different from all the other long-limbed Marvel mech suits. As for minifigures, well, LEGO does love to recycle, so why not use the Spot in this set? He was in the $55 Bodega set in 2025, so having him in a cheaper mech suit in 2026 makes a lot of sense. But as for Penny Parker, LEGO would have quite the challenge, as she's a bit more anime-inspired in her design, and that would kind of clash with LEGO's usual aesthetic for minifigures. I reviewed an off-brand of Penny Parker a few weeks back, and it could look really good if you keep to her style of anime, but I'm not sure LEGO would do that, so they'd have to find a way to mesh those two worlds together into one figure design. But for the package itself, $15 is a good price for a mech suit. You get one new figure, one reused, and a mech that actually makes sense. So that's the first set on my 2026 Marvel wish list. If you would buy it, hit that like button, and if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel for more LEGO videos like this. Moving on to set number 2, it's the Monaco Racetrack Showdown from Iron Man 2. Retail value would be $25 and would include two figures, a Tony Stark race suit and a Whiplash Mark I. So why would this idea work? Well, in a previous video, I showed how easy it was to transform this Formula 1 set into a racer near identical to Tony Stark's, so it's not like LEGO has to break new ground to make this set. The car could be sleek, slender with a couple of sticker prints to make it Stark branded. Tony could either be in his racetrack suit, or this would be a great chance to remake the Iron Man Mark V suit. Either way, LEGO could use their new Tony Stark head for this set. As for Whiplash, you can use the same head and hair as the older figure with just a revised torso and leg print. That way, Whiplash would match his shirtless look from the racetrack scene. Because of the simplicity of the build and figures, I think this set would be fairly priced at $25. But I could also easily see LEGO upcharging to $30 and include some extra builds like Fire, or maybe a suitcase, or perhaps even Happy Hogan. That character is certainly overdue for a remake. If LEGO insists on going back to older films in the MCU to mine for set ideas, why not utilize movies and scenes we've never seen before in LEGO form? Speaking of which, my next set is the Asgard Destroyer. Retail price would be $35. It would include a Surtur-sized destroyer build and a new minifigure of Thor. There is a surprising lack of Thor and Asgard sets across the entire LEGO Marvel pantheon. And while I do think the Asgard Palace would be a great idea for a giant LEGO Marvel set, perhaps LEGO wants to slow walk the idea of Thor sets a little bit. So using the same structure as the Thor Ragnarok Surtur build, I think a destroyer buildable figure with a minifigure of Thor would be a great way to reintroduce audiences to early Thor movies. Designers would also have a bit of an early head start, as the Destroyer was found in the LEGO Marvel video game and would be a great jumping off point for that build. As for Thor, I think it's high time we give him some armor pattern on his sleeves. That would be a great way to elevate this figure above all the other ones. But the rest of the figure could probably be identical to the current retail Thor. Think of it like the Avengers Tower Black Widow. That little bit of printing goes a long way to elevate the figures. But what about my next wishlist set? It's the Super Collider from Into the Spider-Verse. With a retail price of $40, two figures, Miles Morales, and our first ever Kingpin. The Bodega set in 2025 opened up LEGO to the Spider-Verse. The CMF wave blew the hole wide open, so I'd want to keep that momentum going with a new Spider-Verse set every year. The Super Collider is an imposing, fascinating set-piece battleground with plenty of opportunities for colored debris, posing stands, and play mechanics. Think like the Spider-Man 2 train battle set from 2025, but elevated over the ground and maybe be able to turn as well. As for minifigures, I think we can pull Miles from the latest mech suit in 2026, but with dual molded arms. But Kingpin, that's a whole nother story. LEGO could either go the route of a big fig, or, keeping in the style of Spider-Verse, they can make a buildable Kingpin body with a tiny minifigure Kingpin head, keeping proportions identical to the ones found in the movie. I think if the build is the same size as, say, Igor from the Iron Man laboratory, with a tiny minifigure head, that would look pretty close to the Kingpin found in the movie. I've seen a couple really good mocks of the Spider-Verse Kingpin, so I know it would look pretty sleek. Speaking of untapped Spider-Man potential, how about my next set, Epic Movie Moment, Battle on Oscorp. Retail price $50, would include 3 figures, The Amazing Spider-Man, The Lizard, and Captain Stacy. Now that LEGO is dipping their toes into making sets based on Spider-Man films like the Raimi-verse and the Spider-Verse, it's high time the Amazing Spider-Man series, the Mark Webb one, gets its fair due in LEGO form. We do have that one poly bag of Electro, but that's not really a set. I want to see a full-on build, and the Battle on Oscorp from the Amazing Spider-Man film would be a really cool addition. We could have this giant tower with the gas coming off the top, all the scaffolding breaking, a new Spider-Man figure with golden eyes to match his costume in the movie, perhaps even an unmasked head with Andrew Garfield now that we have that already. LEGO would probably reuse the Lizard from the No Way Home Liberty battle, but that's okay because it's a really good figure. Add on Captain Stacy, who would probably be a composite of pre-existing parts, and you have a really cool set based on a rather underrated Spider-Man film. But there's another epic movie moment that I think needs to have a LEGO set based on it. That's my next set, Epic Movie Moment, Battle on Titan. Retail price $50, would include 2 figures, Thanos and Doctor Strange. The one-on-one fight between Doctor Strange and Thanos was one of the highlights of Infinity War, and I'm shocked we don't have a LEGO set based on this moment yet. And there are several fun opportunities to depict magic in LEGO form. You could have a bunch of butterflies or bats. You could have magic beams with clear translucent pieces. You could have Doctor Strange levitating above the air with a bunch of arms behind him. I think if LEGO used very similar styles of building techniques found in the botanical line, but used for magic spells, that would be perfect. As for figures, I think we're overdue for a more serious Doctor Strange figure based on Infinity War, and we are long overdue for a screen-accurate Infinity War Thanos, with the tunic, no armor, bald head, and gauntlet. This would be a set I'd buy on day one, as it's one of my favorite moments from the Infinity Saga. And so far in this wish list, we've really only talked about movies, so how about some comic sets? How about Fantastic Four vs. Giganto? Retail price $60, would include 2 figures, Reed Richards and Sue Storm. The goal of this set is really simple. Recreate the cover of Fantastic Four Issue 1. A large Giganto monster, some comic costumes of Reed Richards and Sue Storm fighting, and throw in a Fantastic car for good measure. It can either be from the comics or from the video game, as both designs look rather nice. Although make sure your car has 4 seats, not 2. You'll find out why in a little bit. While $60 may seem like a lot for only 2 figures, as that's the same price point as the Galactus set from last year with all 4 members of the first family, I do think having less figures in this wishlist set gives us the ability to give each figure more love, like leg printing, maybe even giving Sue some translucent pieces like arms and legs to have her look invisible, and giving Reed stretchy arms like Miss Marvel. Plus, I think it'd be really fun to have a Giganto build that could be attacking your growing Marvel city. Speaking of that city, how about a new building? It's the comic book Sanctum Sanctorum. Retail price of $80, including new figures Strange, Silver Surfer, Spider-Man, and Captain America. Doctor Strange from the LEGO Marvel video game has a really great design with a fantastic mesh of that comic and 60s psychedelic artwork. And I think the realm of magic and spells has been untouched in the Marvel comic universe in LEGO form, so the Sanctum will be a great spot to add to your Marvel city alongside the Daily Bugle, as well as Peter's apartment. Within the building, you could have dimensional creatures fighting other characters, floating books, spell pieces, tears into new dimensions, and a levitating Doctor Strange. As for figures, we'd have to include Spider-Man because every set includes Spider-Man, but I also think the Silver Surfer would be a wonderful addition here. Think back to the Infinity War comic, Surfer's the one who warned Strange about Thanos, not the Hulk. I also think this would be a great chance to include a Captain America figure, unvenomized. We have the venomized version in the Daily Bugle set, but this set would be the debut of the unvenomized Steve Rogers with dual molded legs for the very first time in all his star-spangled glory. If LEGO wants to expand their Spider-Man city into characters outside Spider-Man, I do think the Sanctum is a great way to do so. but how about a giant villain build? My next set is the Damocles. Retail price $100. Would include figures Kang, Ravonna Renslayer, Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Captain America. On the one hand, it seems like LEGO and Marvel want to move away from Kang as far as possible. On the other hand, Kang has played a major role in LEGO Marvel video games in the past, so this would be a really great chance to give that version of the character some love. The Damocles ship, I imagine, would be similar to the Eternals Domo, in that it'd be a very long, thin ship that could open up to reveal all the play areas inside. This could also be a build that's elevated on some Technic or clear posing stands to make the ship flying. As for the figures, I think we are long overdue for a comic book Kang. We saw a couple of renders in a Marvel magazine, we have the video game as I mentioned earlier. I do think this version of the character deserves a minifigure form. Now, you can't have Kang without also including Ravonna Renslayer, so we'll include her here as well. As for the other 3 figures, they will be repeats, but given the price point of $100 and 2 fully new decked out figures, I think that budget balances out. It feels realistic and not overly ambitious. So Captain America's a repeat, Spider-Man's a repeat, and Iron Man would be a repeat from his car set in 2025. I feel like if LEGO wants to go all in on this expandable Marvel city, you have to include some really big threats to make that city feel more alive and the play opportunities far more endless. But we still have one more building left to add, the last set on my wish list. It's one a lot of fans have been asking for. It's the Baxter building. Retail price of $130 would include figures Ben Grimm, 2 Johnny Storms, Herbie the Robot, Mole Man, Spider-Man, and Alicia Masters. And this is why we only included Reed and Sue in the Giganto set, because Ben and Johnny would be in the Baxter building. And we'd also get 2 Johnny figures, one normal and one powered up flame-on Human Torch. As for the building itself, we would get Reed's lab, Ben's kitchen, perhaps a landing pad for the Fantastic Car from the other set. You could also recreate Spider-Man meeting the Fantastic Four from that cover art. Maybe even include a paper bag ultimate head, like a Minecraft mold, so your Spider-Man could also become the bombastic Bagman. You could also have Mole Man drilling into the Baxter building, so that way, if you only buy this set, there still is a story that can be told. That's the secret of these mini Marvel modulars. Each one has a story within it that can be expanded into a larger narrative if you combine buildings together. As for Alicia Masters, it's one of those deeper cut characters that comic fans would love to have, and it'd be a great way to introduce her to newer fans of LEGO Marvel. If the rumors are true and we're not getting a large Marvel modular set in 2026, perhaps DC takes that slot again like it did with the Arkham Asylum, then I do think the Baxter building would be the perfect high price set for our play-scale Marvel City, and the last set on my wish list. So that's my list of 10 sets that I believe would be the perfect additions for Marvel in 2026. Which ones were your favorite? Let me know in the comment section down below. I want to give a huge thank you to all of my channel members for supporting me and helping make videos like this. And as always, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.